Got it.
Awesome. All right. Hi, Paula. I'm so excited to be spending some.
Hello.
Hi. I'm so excited to be spending some time with you and chatting about your business.
Thank you.
So why don't you tell
Thank you.
everyone who you are and what your business is?
All right. Well, so I'm Paula McConnell. I'm the founder of Siva Digital. And what we are is the non-agency agency. So we're a two-sided marketplace that pairs highly skilled copywriters with small business owners who have very little or no marketing experience with marketing micro projects. And what these are very focused, structured, and high value quick wins, copywriting quick wins for small business owners that are really affordable, because what we do is we've made them highly structured, no scope creep. So we get in and we get out and we deliver what they need at a price that they can afford.
Yeah, sounds awesome. And knowing you personally, I know you put in a lot of research behind this, and there was just so
Uh,
much love poured into this. So it's really exciting to see that grow and take shape.
Thank you.
Yeah. So so I'm wondering, before we worked together, what was going on in your business and what were some of the problems you were
Uh,
running against?
well, Mimi, one, there's always the problem of it's really hard to be objective about your own stuff. So there's trying to because what I'm actually building is a company, not just a business, but a company with infrastructure. So my head was in so many different places that the fact that I'm actually a copywriter on top of it, my background's a little bit different, as you personally know, and I also have an MBA. So I come also at this at a little bit different, um, I guess, focus, a different perspective. But so while I was trying to actually build the thing, how do I communicate the thing, which we're still exploring what this thing is? So does that sound like a problem? Because it sure was a big problem for me for months.
It sounds very overwhelming. Yeah.
It was
So
huge.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah, there's
I'm moving my phone. Here we go.
no, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay.
It's very pretty outside behind you, by the way.
It actually is kind of nice today. It was supposed to be raining.
So before we worked together, I'm just curious if you had any resistance to it.
Well, at first I had resistance to the idea that I would need to do this, because shouldn't I be able to do this? But since I actually, I trusted you. And if there was anybody that I could turn my baby over and say, it's going to be fine, it was going to be you. So there wasn't as much resistance as there would have been with somebody else. Somebody else, I would have been, I don't know. But I knew that I could just like turn it over to you and not think about it. So there was complete trust there that it was going to be fine, and
Thanks,
that if
Paula.
anybody could figure out what if anybody could figure out what was wrong with it, it was going to be you. And if anybody could figure out what was wrong with it and tell me in a very gentle way, it was definitely going to be with you. so, so no, there wasn't that much resistance.
Thank you, Paula. That's really high praise, and I'm so honored to have worked on this with you.
Uh,
So, so what was different about working with me? What was that experience like?
it was such a relief, actually, which is something I wasn't expecting, right? So it was almost like therapy. It was copywriting therapy, because you gave me an opportunity to just like dump my story. And in that story, you pointed out things that I hadn't really thought of as important. And now revisiting and putting that back in the story, and you know what I'm talking about when I made my mother-in-law cry. Um, Now that I've included that back into the company story, things make much more sense. My messaging, my um, how this is going to develop. Companies have personalities, and one of the things that I've been doing with Siva is, because the intention is this is going to be sold, this is or develop into something else. It's going to live past me, hopefully. So it needs to develop its own personality. This baby really needs to grow into its own thing. So I was not expecting that to evolve out of this conversation. Not at all, actually. I mean, I know that happens as a result of other things as time goes on, but I did not expect it to happen as a result of what we did together. So it was really interesting is that there was like this shift for me. It clarified once you got in there and really massaged my messaging and what I was trying to do, that what you really did is you changed the trajectory, maybe just slightly, but
Mhm.
it was enough so that it took it one step away from being my brain project into being its own thing. Make
Yeah,
sense?
it does. Yeah, because I know the story, because the story that you mentioned with your mother-in-law was so personal and quite emotional. Um,
Yes.
it's like we
It's
really
not
put
a
that,
good look when you make your mother-in-law cry when you yell at her.
yeah. But you know what? Kind of happens to all of us.
Possibly.
Um, um, yeah, I feel like we put back in some like a really foundational emotional piece that was really important that had sort of gotten overlooked in all of the like logistical stuff and all the necessary stuff. And
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
very
yeah.
true.
So what does this mean for your business now? Can you tell me as specifically as you can where you are as a result of your work, our work together?
Well, you know that everything is still evolving and we're still getting in our first
Mhm.
customers and we're still experimenting and feeling our way through this. So we don't have, I can't say, oh, my conversion rates will change, blah, blah, blah. We don't really have that kind of we don't have that kind of data yet, but we have a clarity of language that I didn't have before. And I did take all those things you gave me and I started redoing other pages because once I understand it, that prism. So what you provided for me was a prism, really. I mean, actual language, and I made real changes, of course, but a different way of seeing everything. Um, and I reuse. I mean, I used and I reused and I played with and incorporated things, all the extra, not the extra, but everything that you gave me in your package,
Yeah.
so that it tightened up the messaging. And it, we and marketing, we talk about messaging a lot, or we talk about these ridiculous terms that don't mean anything, right? And you know how I feel about that. Don't just because I'm an MBA, I don't talk like one, right? I'm like a girl from upstate New York. But the thing is, this is communication. And the clearer you get about your communication, the clearer you get about your intentions, the clearer you get about your goals and how you get there.
Mhm.
All right. So when you think better, when you write better, when you think better, when you are able to communicate better, then you're going to have a more focused result. And that's what's going to happen.
Mhm.
I hope. Fingers
Yeah,
crossed.
it seems like the path towards those sales is clarified.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think what people don't always realize is how much work there is that goes into all the stuff before. And I know you'd already done a lot of work, and
Yeah.
again, I'm so glad to have come in and just to have even tweaked a little thing to make that path clearer.
And it's astonishing what one person can do. And when you said I've done a little work, months of work, like 6 months to put
Mhm.
together that website. And
Yeah.
the amount of research and head banging I
Mhm.
did to get it to the point where you saw it. And then the fact that you could go in and say, okay, hold on. This is what's going on. These are the opportunities you're missing. It's just amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Thank you. So is there anything else that you'd like to share?
Um, nothing Nothing comes to mind.
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
just put in a plug here that you could put in for your social media. You need to hire this person. Her. Yes, she's the one.
Thank you,
She
Paula.
can take care of these things for you. It was amazing, Mimi. It was so much better. I mean, I knew you were going to do amazing things. That was never my thought. But the fact that it could also not only as a business case do what it needed to do, but also clarify what it needed to do in me is huge. And I'm a future SaaS product, B2B solution, and I know that's not the population you typically work with, but you can't help with a small business person or a person who is so intimately involved in their business. There's a connection. Personal development is business development and both. And I did not expect that your work in the business side of things was going to affect me so personally. So
Mm.
well done, you.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I don't think I don't think we've talked about it in such clear terms, but I mean, I agree, like the external changes are linked to the internal changes. So
Right?
yeah,
It's true.
yep.
And so you could be really surprised at what a simple copywriting job can do, not only to click something in your brain to say, oh, I understand this better. This is what I need to do, and this is how I'm going to move forward. All comes from sometimes a simple change in your headline that you didn't see coming. So it's powerful stuff. Very
Yeah.
powerful.
Well, thank you so much, Paula. I'm really excited to see how things continue to grow and take off for you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Thank you so much for spending some time with me.
No problem.
Thanks.